had nothing to say, and I get lost in the nothingness inside of me. I was confused, and I let it all out.
I'm sure you probably heard by now the Nevada State Athletic Commission is basically saying to Andre Ward, no, you're not fighting him. You're not fighting no Murdock, whatever his name is. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody cares who he is. And someone of the level of Andre Ward, in my opinion, should not be fighting D-level fighters. I don't care if it's short notice. I don't care if it's on an undercard. I don't care. People are saying Andre Ward is this, and Andre Ward is good. Andre Ward is on my pound-for-pound list, but because of the inactivity, because we don't know if he's still the same fighter realistically that he was when he fought Chad Dawson. What was that, in 2012? And then he fought the Super 6 tournament. That was ages ago. Carl Froch is gone already. So it's like, Andre Ward is good. He's a very, very good fighter. He's a pound-for-pound fighter, but when you look at his resume, it's not much there, and who can you blame him? This is the guy, don't forget that this is the guy who had lost multiple lawsuits against Dan Goossen before Dan Goossen passed, rest his soul. And if Dan Goossen didn't pass, he would still be a Dan Goossen fighter and likely owing Dan Goossen somewhere around the tune of $10 million because I believe he countersued him. So his career was in jeopardy as far as a promotional standpoint is concerned. But now it's like, I'm not going to bring up Golovkin in this video outside of what I just said right there, because we're not talking about Golovkin. We're talking about a fight that can happen, and that's the fight that they're talking about between Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward. Now, Rohan Murdock, the guy he was supposed to be fighting, or heavily rumored to, well, we already know he was supposed to be fighting him because they tried to go to the Nevada State Athletic Commission to get the fight sanctioned, and they said, like, no, we're not sanctioning that bullshit. You're Andre Ward. You're pound for pound. You should be fighting, higher level competition. And the thing about the 168-pound division is it is deep. I'm talking about when you think about both of the Durrell brothers, when you think about Lucien Bute, when you think about George Groves, Bottle Jack, just to name a few. Like, if there's anybody he should fight, because right now he has, about 28 days or so before the fight? No, about 27 or so days before November the 21st, 2015, Cotto versus Canelo. He's supposed to be fighting on the undercard. Maybe he should call up a Bad Medina, the guy who gave Geale love the stinky leg. Maybe he should call up Marco Antonio Parabon. There's fighters out there for him to call up. But if you look at the landscape of the 168-pound division, a lot of those guys are signed under Al Heyman and Rock Nation, and Al Heyman or PBC don't have a working relationship right now. So you got to take those fighters out. Now, a lot of people are asking the question, well, is this fight going to be at 175 or above the 168-pound limit, or is this going to be a 168-pound fight? Now, that's what's interesting, because remember, his last fight was at a catchweight of 172, even though Paul Smith came in weighing, just some ridiculous amount, like over the limit, and came in a ring like really, really fat for the 175-pound division. Andre Ward has mentioned himself. I forgot where I read it at. I believe there's a video where he doesn't feel his body like he can make 168 anymore comfortably. Now, we know that the structure of his deal with HBO, if you don't know, he has a new deal with HBO. The structure of his HBO deal is for 3 fights, and one of those fights have to be Sergey Kovalev. So it would have been Andre Ward versus Rohan Murdock, somebody, and then Kovalev versus Ward. But Ward would have to get in 2 fights before Kovalev gets in his one with Jean Pascal, because Kovalev is said to be almost official now, fighting Pascal for the second time, January the 30th. 2016. So basically, if you think Kovalev will be back in the ring, it would be sometime maybe in the summer, like early to late summer. That would give Andre Ward the chance to maybe get 2 fights in. This one fight against, we might as well say a bum fight against Rohan Murdock. This would have been a chance for him to get a fight in against Rohan Murdock, who's really not really a bum. I actually got a chance to watch a little bit of footage on him. He still would have lost. No, let's not get it twisted. He still would get beat up by Andre Ward, but I think he would have put up some effort. Also, Andre Ward would have a chance to maybe fight in, maybe February or March in a more higher profile fight. But who would that be? And would it be at 168 or 175? You know, and like I said, I'm not going to talk about Golovkin because that fight is not going to happen. And I don't see any reason why it should happen, at least not yet, especially when Andre Ward is going to be fighting in a 175-pound division and chasing Sergey Kovalev, who's the IBF, WBO, and the WBA Super World Champion at 175 pounds. So Andre Ward needs an opponent. We don't know who it's going to be. It's likely going to be a lower level opponent. But like I said, why not call up a, like there's fighters. Let me pull up the 168-pound division. By the way, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. And I'm going to pull up the 168-pound division for you. And there's fighters at 175 you can fight. Why not fight Yunieski Gonzalez, the guy who supposed to or should have beaten, you know, Jean Pascal. I mean, he should, technically, Sergey Kovalev should be fighting him, in my opinion. So let's look at Andre Ward. And let's see. I'm going to, because I remember I was reading and looking at the division earlier, and I cover mostly all the fighters. You even got Gilberto Ramirez. Why not fight him? That's a fight that could be made. But I'm sure Top Rank and Rock Nation won't want to make that fight on no 28 days notice. You know, I remember years ago, people used to take, you know, big name fighters would take fights on short notice. So yeah, you got Andre Ward, Arthur Abraham, James DeGale, Anthony Durrell, Badu Jack, Fedor Chudinov, if you could afford him, Martin Murray, but we already know what's going on with Martin Murray fighting Arthur Abraham, Felix Sturm, George Groves, Caleb Smith, Rocky Felding, them two are fighting this weekend. Gilberto Ramirez, I mentioned him. Blake Capriello, he's fighting on the Anthony Mundine, Charles Hatley card. That's in November. He was supposed to fight Andre Durrell earlier this month. Roger Leo Medina, that's Bad Medina, the guy who beat up Jalen Love. Call him Marco Antonio Rubio, see what he's doing. Lucien Bute. So there's fighters out there. That's the 168-pound division. I'm not going to go through the 175. Matter of fact, let me go through the 175 too, just to be fair. Because what it's looking like to me is it's looking like Andre Ward wants a tune-up fight, but he wants a fight where he can look good on HBO pay-per-view. I'm guessing, you know, that's what it's looking like to me. It looks like he just wants a fighter where he can just completely outclass. And I'm thinking, I mean, you're Andre Ward. You shouldn't be fighting fighters like that. Same thing if you look at the 175-pound division. A lot of those fighters, I don't think Andre Ward would want any parts of right now. And you got a lot of those fighters who are either, you know, Al Heyman fighters or Matchroom fighters. You know, I wouldn't say Tommy Carpenter. I wouldn't want to see that fight. I wouldn't want to see Ward versus Saki Obika too. You know, Stieglitz. Robert Stieglitz is fighting at 175 pounds right now. Call him up. Oh, well, he's already got a fight pretty much, from my understanding. But I'm sure these are probably names that you probably don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is Andre Ward is trying to have an easy pick'ems fight. And I don't think that at this point in time in his career, especially with all the shit that he talks, he should be fighting fighters of the caliber of Rohan Murdock. And if any time the state says, no, we're not sanctioning that fight. And it's not like Rohan Murdock's been knocked out or beat up multiple times or his career is in jeopardy because he's going to get brain damage. They just said, no, you're Andre Ward. You shouldn't be fighting fighters of that caliber. It's crazy. And he's ranked like number 6 by the WBO. But I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. All my social media is right down below in the description box. T Street Controversy, T Street Controversy Live.